Good morning, Bucknuts. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, January 12th, 2018. I am Dave Biddle and very happy to be joined by Jonah Booker. JBook Parris Campbell announced yesterday he is coming back to Ohio State for his fifth-year senior season. I love the way he did it on Twitter. Just had a short little video at the very end with after he scored a touchdown. It was a video of that. He had the number 1 up as he was being lifted up by an offensive lineman, and he said, 1 more year. Your thoughts on Parris Campbell coming back?
I'm very excited about this news, Dave. I know that there's a lot of talk about, recruiting, how this class is going to finish out, but landing a guy in Parris Campbell, having him come back another year, it's like having a 5-star coming in for 1 more year in your program. The guy is dynamic. I think he has a lot of room to still grow as a wide receiver. I want to see him regain that kickoff return position where he was such a home run hitter with that unit. So it's big for the program. You want to be able to stack as much talent as possible. I think this team has the potential to make a legitimate national championship run. So you got to have home run hitters like Parris Campbell who's going to help stack that roster.
It's one of the more unbelievable stats of last season. Parris Campbell only had 10 carries all year. I realize he missed a couple games and most of another one with a concussion, and they took away his kick return duties. But if you had told me at the beginning of the year Parris Campbell's going to stay relatively healthy, he's going to play in like 10 games, he's going to have 10 carries, I would have said you're crazy, especially with the way we're used to them using the starting H-back. I think they need to use him more in that role. He doesn't have great hands, but when he gets the ball in his hands, the guy is extremely electric. And we saw them go under center, use that jet sweep a couple times. Once it worked very effectively against USC. I think that's one thing that they can do more, Parris Campbell, is the jet sweeps and things like that to really use his speed. I still can't believe he had 10 carries all year, JBook.
I think he was severely underutilized. I'm shocked about that stat there, 10 carries, especially when the previous year you saw how much they utilized Curtis Samuel. And I think between the tackles and hitting that edge, I think Parris Campbell is just as dynamic as Curtis Samuel when it comes to running the football. I think he's a Swiss Army type of player, and it's going to be up to the Ohio State offensive brain trust to get creative. I mean, this is a guy that if you can get him 10 touches a game, he's going to be a household name. He has that ability to pop a run for 75 yards at any given moment. So it's imperative that they find a way to get this guy the football to keep the defense off balance. There's not a lot of teams that's going to beat Parris Campbell to the edge. So I definitely think they have a lot of room to grow in that aspect. It's just trying to get him the football all around, not just running the ball, but having him, do more things as a wide receiver. And you saw what Georgia did in the national championship with Sonny Michel and Mecole Hardman, the guy that Ohio State went after. They even ran a little wildcat with those guys. I wouldn't mind seeing Parris Campbell getting the football in that dynamic as well, is lining up behind center and getting direct snaps. Anything that you can do for him to touch the football, I'm all about.
If Parris did leave, JBook, I really thought that Jalen Gill's a true freshman, might get some run, but I really thought the guy that would benefit the most would be Demario McCall. I was impressed with Demario as a true freshman. This past year played a little bit, but not really. I assume that they're able to get a medical red shirt. We'll find out once that is official. So he'll probably be a third-year sophomore this coming fall. My question for you, JBook, where does this leave Demario McCall? I know he could have a role if guys get injured, but if guys stay healthy, is he just have a bit role again?
This is going to be a huge winter conditioning session for him and a monster spring. How many times had the media asked about McCall to Urban Meyer, and he said he's close, but the guy needs to get stronger. That's one of the things with him. He's on the smallest side, so he needs to get bigger, and he needs to take the opportunity to really put on some weight. They had mentioned that he's on the smaller side again this past season because of the injuries preventing him from really going full tilt where he needs to get his body at. But I think this is a monster year, especially with Jalen Gill coming in. McCall, he may be in a situation is if he can't rise to the competition, he's going to feel the squeeze. There's a lot of talent coming in, and he's behind a lot of talent. So where is he going to be? That's to be determined. The opportunity is there for him. You know, the one thing you have to love about Ohio State is iron sharpen iron. The competition cream will rise to the top. If Demario McCall goes into practice and he absolutely balls out and he catches the coach's eyes, they will try to find a way to get him in the rotation. But it's going to be up to him. One, he needs to stay healthy, and two, he needs to get bigger.
John, I want to transition to recruiting. Offensive lineman Kevin Fetter, latest to announce that he's transferring, not a surprise there. That opens up another scholarship spot. Buckeyes have 22 recruits signed in their 2018 class, and I think they have room to sign 4 more and get to 26. I want your thoughts on that, and specifically I want your thoughts on how you feel about some of these main guys that are left on the board. Guys like Rasheed Walker and Javonte Jean-Baptiste and Tyler Friday and just the other guys that are left. Do you feel like they can get to 26, and how do you feel about some of those guys?
I think they can get there. I mean, it would take a clean sweep across the board with Ohio State getting their remaining targets. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about some more names when it comes to attrition as far as guys looking to transfer. I think we're done as far as hearing guys leaving for the NFL, which factored into the overall numbers when it comes to how many bodies you can take this year. But I think Ohio State is in a prime position. One thing you have to take notice about when it comes to Urban Meyer and Ohio State and guys they really want, they're getting their top targets late in the game on official visits, whereas a lot of the top prospects have already had visits to other schools. Ohio State's getting late visits, so that means Urban Meyer comes in with his coffee and he's ready to close these deals. I think for sure they got Tyler Friday in the mix. From all indications, there's been a flurry of crystal balls in for him. I think Walker has a great chance to be in this class. He showed that he was able to build some relationships with the other Ohio State commits at the Army All-American Bowl. The remaining guys, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays. I think Alex Gleitman said the other 4-star defensive end prospect, he's calling him to Ohio State. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think they have a really good shot of getting all of their guys, especially with the situation of them getting them on campus so late in the game. Ohio State doesn't have to focus on holding on to guys late in the recruiting cycle like previous years because everyone's already signed up, so they're able to focus their attention on those 4 or 5 remaining guys that they have on their board.
Michigan recruiting, not going well. Even their fans are revolting now, JBook. I mean, to say that the honeymoon is over in Ann Arbor for Jim Harbaugh is a vast understatement. Just your thoughts on Michigan recruiting. Go.
I love it. I love what's going on right now. And I know I've captured a couple screenshots from their fans having an epic meltdown on their Globe free board. And it's amazing because their diehard guys are really up in arms about where they're at as far as recruiting. I mean, the Tyler Friday announcement that all indications are he's headed to Ohio State was an absolute, throat punch to Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. They have been targeting him as their top prospect for years now, and Ohio State comes in and snatches him at the very end from their rival. But their overall recruiting is severely lacking. I mean, they've pretty much waved the white flag in recruiting in the state of Ohio. They're missing out on a ton of elite prospects. They believe that one of their other top 100 guys is going to flip to Georgia if they can find some room, which will leave them with 0 top 100 guys. So the way they're recruiting right now is 3-star heaven. It all comes down to the Jimmies and the Joes, and Michigan is coming up short where it needs to be. And it's funny. I mean, I know we've had it on the board, and it's fun to get a kick out of it. I know one of their guys had asked a question. He goes, how farther can we go? We're already in a dumpster. What's next? We go to a smaller, more nastier dumpster. So The honeymoon is over up there in Michigan. I mean, Jim Harbaugh, this guy is in a mode to where he better have a good season next year, or it's going to get extremely ugly. And I don't think they're going to have a good year. That schedule they have next year, it's absolutely brutal. So you got a guy who is going into the next year having terrible momentum. That South Carolina loss to that Michigan had was absolutely crushing to the morale coming off the Ohio State loss. And then you back that up with a terrible recruiting season, and then you're going into next year with a brutal schedule. As an Ohio State fan, all you can do is just sit back and smile and enjoy the show.
Very well said. He is Jonah Booker. Thank you very much, JBook. And thanks to all the listeners out there for tuning in to the show. Hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.